Hello everyone. A very warm welcome to you all. So after a month of Manavotsav here at De Montfort University, we are really glad to announce the great collaborations that's happening behind the scenes, primarily in the area of digital media and society and building community resilience, and building community resilience actually via the lived experiences of the community. And at the university, we are very keen to develop research partnership locally, nationally, and internationally. I think at the moment, what we are trying to do is we are trying to work on performing arts and trying to understand from the community how that can help us to build that resilience together as a framework. So yeah, so another great event now. So I will, and I'm very glad to say that we have got now partners from India and also here. And one of our partners, Sangeet Foundation, they have organized a great event today. Again, another collaborative event that we are doing today. So I would like to welcome the founder of Sangeet Foundation, Jayant Rai, who is here, and he's going to take us through the event and give us a brief introduction around what we can expect today. Over to you, Jayanta.
Thank you, Indrani. Welcome all. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. And thank you so much for joining in today. We will go through this program and introduce Sangeet Foundation to you, right? So Sangeet Foundation believes in happiness through music and the arts, and the power of music and the arts in creating positivity. This is to create awareness, also about creating awareness about mental health, and to create a safe space for sharing and discussing mental wellness. In the process, Sangeet Foundation has organized multiple programs, and we have come to enjoy a lot of fabulous performances, interviews, discussions in music, dance, art, photography, and movies addressing various aspects of mental wellness. We have been fortunate to have Padma Shri Aparna Sen as our patron, and we are also delighted to welcome Pandit Vikram Ghosh as our distinguished panel of patrons. Let us hear from the master himself. So I'm going to share something which Vikram Ghosh has shared with us, and here goes.
Namaskar, I am Vikram Ghosh, and I'd like to congratulate Sangeet Foundation for the wonderful work they're doing. I am happy to be involved in the very, very relevant work that you are doing, and I am in full support. Thank you, and God bless.
Thank you. So that was from Pandit Vikram Ghosh about Sangeet Foundation. So what we would like, so apart from partnering with various social and charitable organizations, Sangeet Foundation is in partnership with various universities. You just heard from Dr. Lahiri of De Montfort University, Leicester. We also partner with South Asia Institute, SUAS of London University, and we are exploring options with other universities and the NHS for research projects regarding various forms of art and how it can address mental health. So today's program is mental health and performing arts, divas and royalty. So we have two divas with us, Ramanjit Kaur and Ushashi Sengupta, in conversation with Shahanshah Mirza. I will not get into the divas and what they represent. You'll hear from them and from Shahanshah Mirza himself. Shahanshah Mirza, who is the royalty here, is the great-great-grandson of King Wajid Ali Shah, the last ruler of Awadh. He's a senior officer in the GST department in the Ministry of Finance and currently posted in Kolkata. He's a life member of INTACH, INTAC, and is passionate about preserving the glorious heritage of India. He's a regular speaker at various forums and talks on various different issues. Mr. Mirza is a dedicated green and social activist and has planted thousands of saplings. He has co-authored two books, Calcutta, A Built Heritage and Calcutta Dotes. Let us see what the divas have been doing. So I'll be sharing a video of Ramanjit Kaur and see what they have been up to till now.
want to dance a dangerous dance. तुम भी चलो मैं भी चलूं, जाए कहाँ पता नहीं, चल पड़े सब मगर रास्ता पता नहीं।
मेरे बाल तो उलझे ही रहते, सुनते ही नहीं।
अरे तो तेल लगाया करो ना, आज मेरे भी घुंघराले बाल होंगे। I love the way my hair goes.
आओ पिया मुरे जिन जाओ रतिया।
मुझे याद आ रही है वो तवे से गरम उसमें डाली और गल जाए रोटी पराठे।
Will there also be singing? Yes, they will also be singing about the dark times.
ये सब ताकत का खेल है।
There's no food to eat, mouths to feed, mouths to open. Before long, Gregory's. We all have blood on our hands. पढ़ा लिखा कुछ काम न आया, पढ़ा लिखा कुछ काम न आया, जीवन बीता चम्मच कॉलम ने महकाया, स्कूले ने महकाया, लेकिन नौकरी नशा खा लिया है अपनी गलती खा जिएंगे अब ना बीते जीवन कटुल कटुल चम्मच चम्मच।
क्या अभी वहाँ के बागों में मस्ताना हवाएं आती हैं? क्या अभी वहाँ के पर्वत पर घने घोर घटाएं छाती हैं? क्या अभी वहाँ के बरखाएं वैसे ही दिलों को भाती हैं? वो देश से आने वाले बता, वो देश से आने वाले बता।
So hope you like that. What I'll do is I'll request Shahanshah to take over. I'm just trying to let the other people come in. Shahanshah, if you would take over from here on.
Good evening and welcome. Welcome to another edition of Sangeet Foundation. It's my privilege and honor to be a part of this organization, and they are doing a wonderful job. This evening, we have got two women who have been outstanding in their field. We'll be interacting with them, and we would like to know how to deal with mental issues with the help of performing arts. This will be a sort of a panel discussion on mental health and healing through performing arts. I'm thankful to join Torre, Indrani Bhattacharya and Indrani Lahiri for giving me a chance to be a part of this wonderful exercise. This evening we have two wonderful women of substance who have done very well in their field, and they still have a very, very long way to go. So this evening when I was mentally preparing for this session, I was a bit confused. Kisse main start karu? We have got Ramanjit Kaur and we have got Ushoshi Sengupta. So I thought for a minute, and then I realized that in order to avoid any confusion, in order to avoid any contradictions, in order to avoid any controversy, we should follow the alphabetic order. So I'll start with my dear friend Ramanjit Kaur. So Ramanjit Kaur is an international award-winning theatre and film actor. She is the founder director of the Creative Arts, a premier theatre training institute. She is a graduate in music, dance, fine arts, and literature, and she has won a gold medalist in Masters in Music, Instrumental. She has trained under her guru, Padma Shri Neelam Mansingh Chaudhary, and she has performed in various festivals in India and abroad. It's a very long list, the number of countries in which she had participated, but the important countries are UK, France, Japan, Germany, and there are many, many more. She has won the following national awards: Sangeet Natak Academy Ustad Bismillah Khan's Yuva Puraskar Award, Sanskriti Award, Uttam Kumar Award, and Ladli National Award for Gender Sensitization. She has also acted in films like Anatomy of Violence, Heaven on Earth and Fire, Mouth of Hell, and Watch the Stars for Me Tonight. She has also directed films which has won the Berlin Flash Film Festival Award. Apart from all this, she is known internationally for creative, innovative workshop, interweaving theatre and life skills. She is renowned for her work for women empowerment. Welcome, Ramanjit Kaur. Welcome to the show. Our next guest is Ushoshi Sengupta. For those who are wondering what does the name mean, Ushoshi, it means the first ray of sun. She was Miss Universe India in 2010. She is an entrepreneur, supermodel, actor, philanthropist, honorary member of Rotary International and TED speaker. She has been the national ambassador. She represented in the prestigious Singapore Grand Prix in 2011, Seychelles India Day celebration in 2013, Mauritian Bicentenary Turf celebration 2013. She has won various awards, and if I have to tell you all the name of awards that she has won, it will take me at least 20 minutes, if not more. So some of the major awards that she won are Telegraph Sananda Tilotma First Runner-Up 2008, Zoom Anchor Hunt Second Runner-Up, Capson Chandigarh Young Women Achievers Award, Radio 1 Youth Star 2015, Bharat Nirman Awards 2017, and many, many more. Ushoshi has a very successful modeling career. She has participated in various events. The important ones are Calcutta Fashion Week campaign, Lakme Fashion Week, Jewelry Fashion Week, Chennai International Fashion Week. She had modeled for Editorial Vogue, GQ, Femina. She has acted in commercial for Dish TV with the king of Bollywood, Shah Rukh Khan. She has modeled for Volkswagen Passat, Tata Nano, Spice Mobile, Jabong. She had modeled for designers like Sabyasachi, Tarun Tehlani, Sapnil Shinde, Anamika Khanna, Anita Dongri, Raj Mahtani, and many, many more. Welcome, Ushoshi Sengupta, to this program. It's my privilege to host both of you all.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
And there is something which is not in the script, but I would like to share with our viewers that both these wonderful women, they are very successful women. But the best thing I like about them is whenever you meet them, you talk to them, there's a lot of positivity. You feel good talking to them. It's like a good feel factor. And I have been knowing Raman for quite some time. So whenever I feel low, I think the best thing is, I call up Raman and we start a conversation and I feel better. So Raman, I'll start with you. The first question goes to you. You are a big name in theatre. So how did this?
Am I? I don't know. I just
Yes,
know
you
I'm
are.
doing theatre.
You are. I remember, I had the privilege of watching Beyond Borders, the clip which we had seen about 10 minutes back. And that particular evening, His Excellency, the Governor of West Bengal, was also there. And the hall was jam-packed. There was not a single seat vacant. And people were glued to their seat till the end. It was a very powerful script. And all the actors that performed very well. So anyway, so the first question to you is that, how did this bug of getting into theatre and making this chosen form of art come to you? Was there anyone in your family who had a theatre background, or who would like to know from you?
Yes, I would give the credit to my paternal family. My grandmother was a painter. My grandfather was a poet. My aunt, she was a Sahitya Academy Award winner, musician, painter, poet. So we had poets. We had Bhai Veer Singh Ji, the renowned poet, as a very close associate of the family, and many such people. So it was a whole mahal of, atmosphere of a lot of painting, poetry, all the time talking about life, a lot of spiritual discourse, spiritual in terms of philosophical, spiritual discourse more than religious. Though Gurbani Sangeet was always prevalent, but connecting it to religion more with the spiritual and philosophy. So we grew up in that atmosphere, and I started dancing at the age of 6. So I learned Bharatnatyam, Kathak, Manipuri, Odissi. I did a little bit. And so, various classical art forms, normally you choose one, but, because I started young and we had the opportunity in Chandigarh, being a Chandigarh girl. So the school gave us all these opportunities and I ended up taking them. As we grew up, I did play in class 10, and I had always been wanting to do that. So finally, I was chosen for this production, and I got the Best Actor in UT award, and I was selected for the International Children Film Festival in '86. So at that point of time, television was, I think, black and white, and we didn't know what a film festival is. And I thought, am I going to go there and act? It was in Bangalore. Amol Palekar was the chairperson of the festival. So it was a dream world of 10 days where there were delegates from 300 countries. Then very soon, we started smaller plays of Ashar Ka Ek Din, directing, acting. But very soon, my guru, Padma Shri Neelam Mansingh Chaudhary ji, was told by one of my teachers, Neel Kamal Puri, about me. And we both met, and rest is history. I acted in a play called Ashar Ka Ek Din, which was based on the story of Helen of Troy, Cassandra, Clytemnestra, and I played Clytemnestra and Iphigenia. So the mistress of Agamemnon and the youngest daughter of Agamemnon in one play, when I think I was 16 or something. So then the lead role happened, I got the lead role in the famous play by Girish Karnadji called Nagamandala. And it was quite an interesting journey of stumbling, learning a lot from my guru and teacher, and we continue to work till date. This is 2020 now, and we started in '86. And it's been such a beautiful and intense journey. We've not let a moment pass by which has not been intense, creatively intense. And of course, relationship-wise. So after that, because I got Charles Wallace Award and French Embassy Scholarship, I got trained by Aryan Manushkin at Théâtre du Soleil and Central School of Speech and Drama, London Academy of Music and Dramatic Arts, and Birmingham School of Speech and Drama, and recently the Pujo Master. So many masters together. Firenza Guidi I cannot forget, because site-specific theatre I learned from her. Why I'm trying to talk about all this is that things kept on happening, Shansha. I mean, I don't think so I conceived it, but I remember visiting my diary. I write my journals a lot, so anytime you want any gossip, you can get your hands on them. So, class 8 की एक diary है, जिसमें मैंने लिखा हुआ है, one day I'll have my own theatre academy. And at that point of time, I had not done even a single piece of theatre. I was only dancing. I was a dancer. So it is very strange that I did not write Dance Academy, but I wrote Theatre Academy. So I think life has its own way of taking us where we need to go. So that's how I would like to put it.
Wonderful, wonderful. You said you were 16 years old when you acted in Helen of Troy.
15. That was at 15. Yeah.
15. Did anyone tell you you were more beautiful than Helen of Troy?
That's why you're my friend. Everyone knows it now. So I have such friends, and they make me happy. So grin never goes off my face.
Okay.
Thank you, Shansha. You're very kind always.
So now, I'll direct my question to our next panelist, Ushoshi. Usho, you come from a very educated, cultured Bengali family, and it is a dream of every Bengali family to have a doctor or an engineer in their family. How did you come in this world of glamour and fashion?
First of all, I just wanted to say thank you to Sangeet Foundation and this beautiful lady with me on the panel, Ramanjeet Kaur. I met her a few years back, and since then it has been like a love story between me and her. Like, I am always in awe of the work that she does, and the way she's motivating young students to take up theatre for mental health is extremely inspiring. Now, coming back to your question, of course, coming from a family, especially Senguptas, Senguptas, Dasguptas, they're known to be, from families which are massively into education. So you do your, regular studies, engineering, and my father's an engineer. He's a mechanical engineer with Indian Air Force. So for me, for my dad, it was he told me once I finished my board exams that either become an engineer or join St. Xavier's College. So those were the two options he gave me. So I thought, let me join Xavier's. That would be easier for me. So back in my head, I always knew that I wanted to go for Miss India. I remember watching Sushmita Sen, getting crowned Miss Universe when I was 6 year old. We were posted in Gujarat, Baroda then, and I that night is still fresh like a photograph in my memory when my father called out my mother saying, Taratari Ashok, this Bengali girl has won Miss Universe. He said, come fast, this Bengali girl has won Miss Universe. And I remember we used to have a small black and white TV then, and I remember watching Sushmita being crowned Miss Universe. And I mean, the way my father was looking at the television, his eyes was lit and he was so excited. So I remember asking him, what does this mean? And he said that she's the most beautiful and intelligent girl in the world today. So I think that somehow stuck with me when I was 6 year old. And for my father, it was, he would always tell me that, beta, fail in any subject, no problem, but don't fail in maths and science. So in fact, till I was in my 12th standard, my dad used to teach me maths and science himself. So I never had a tutor. I would have a tutor for Hindi, social studies, English, for all the other subjects. But maths and science was a subject my dad would sit down and teach me himself because he really wanted one of his child to be an engineer, which didn't happen eventually. But when I told him that I want to go for Miss India, he thought it's just a hobby, I'll get over it sometime. And but back in the head, I was always, as Raman ma'am said, I would also maintain a diary and I would just write down everything that I want to do. And I remember writing down traveling to Seychelles in that diary and traveling to Mauritius and being Miss India. So I used to basically cut and collect all the pictures of Sushmita Sen wherever it came, like even if it was in a magazine. And in 2010, eventually the Miss India franchisee was taken over by Sushmita Sen. And when I sent in my entries, I realized that that year she would be the president of Miss Universe India. The Indian franchisee went to her, and she was mentoring me to go to Miss Universe. So, I mean, I for me it was living a dream, and I don't think for anybody, any student, it could be bigger than being trained by your inspiration to do what you want to do. Yeah, the day I won the pageant, the day I won Miss India, I think my father was the happiest. I remember him giving millions of interviews, and in every interview, he said that, "Oh, I always knew she was meant for this." But while I was going for the pageant, it was absolutely my mother and my sister who supported me, who were my strength. My mother would literally come with me to every audition. She would sit there. I'll come back home. There would be always this this tug of war between with my dad, because he had other dreams for me, and I was this rebel kid. But growing up and throughout the growing up years, I realized for me my biggest source of inspiration is my father. So whether it's performing well in mathematics, joining Xavier's, or being Miss India, for me it was always about making him proud of me. And I kind of grew up just wanting to be like my dad. I remember my dad had given me a diary once, and there was a like those yearly diaries you get, no, where they have a quotation in every page. So there was a quote once which I said. I went to my dad and I said, "What does this mean?" It said, "In the child, a father's image lies." So I went to my dad and I was like, "Daddy, what does this mean?" And he said that a child is as good as their father. If you fail, the father fails. If you win, the father wins. So I said, "Oh, but then why doesn't mummy fail if I fail?" Then he said that mummy gives you life. She gives you your existence, and we fathers, we always feel left out because we can't give you birth. So we give you our identity. We give you our existence. So that's why if you fail, father fails, mummy doesn't fail. So that somehow stayed with me. And when I won Miss India, my winning answer was about patriotism. And the question was, what does patriotism mean to you? And I think being a defense daughter, growing up, seeing my father being a part of Indian Air Force was something very, very, crucial in my life. I think the best thing he did to me was giving me the upbringing of a defense kid. And that really helped me. So convincing my father was very difficult that I don't want to be an engineer. And I mean, even after one Miss India, he would come and tell me that just sit for the UPSC exam, or just, why don't you just try and give the state bank entrance exam. So he always wanted me to have a 9 to 5 job. And I think still he tries that. Sometimes he'll come and tell me, "Oh, at your age, I already retired from Air Force. I already had a pension. What are you doing with your life?" So I think that would continue. But I think I always tell him that. But when we go to our family functions, there are people who want to talk to me and take pictures, and then I slyly like look at him and give him a wink, saying that, "See, I'm more famous than you."
I want to make two observations over here. The first one is a request. Both of you all said that you all maintain a diary. So after this program is over, please write in the diary that you all had participated in this program and I was the host.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. That's
Yes.
going in.
And Usho, you are from St. Xavier's.
Yes.
I also went to St. Xavier's College.
Oh wow, wonderful! So you're my
Yes,
senior.
yes.
You're my
Yes.
senior.
Yes, but don't
Damn,
say so
that's
loud.
for sure.
I was your senior. Don't say it so loudly. And I'm sure there were 2 or 3 years in St. Xavier's history where the results were very poor. The boys who were studying with you, they were busy concentrating in how to get friendly with you rather than concentrate on physics.
No, actually, Shansha, the thing is, when I was in college, nobody ever looked at me. Like, I was that unconventional underdog. Nobody, like my school and my college friends, when they meet me now, they still ask me that how did this transformation happen in you? Like, you know, for me, when I was in college, when I was in school, it was very important to concentrate on the studies. And you know, being in Xavier's, you know, it's not easy. Studies are an important part of you know, being in for Xaverians, everything comes secondary. First is you have to perform well. You need, for my dad, it was very important that at least, you know, whatever happens, my child should be good in studies, you know, like every Bengali family. So when I was in college, nobody really understood, and nobody even realized that I was carrying this dream of being a beauty queen in my heart. You know, I would wear braces. I was completely like my friends, when they meet me now, they still make fun of it.
Okay, okay. So Raman, my next question is to you. There's this general perception that theatre is not very popular in our country. It is confined to a very selected audience, mainly the educated, the upper class people who go and watch a play. Because these days, you know, in this digital world, most of the things are available at the touch of a button in your drawing room. I would like to know from you, is this art, you know, the world of theatre, is it still sustainable? And if it is, how? And the second is that you know, you have been in theatre for a very long time. How did it help you to grow emotionally? Raman, we would like to know from you.
I would also like to take this opportunity to thank Sangeet Foundation, which I missed earlier in my enthusiasm to talk to Shehenshah, who has already, you know, shared with you that he's a very dear friend. Sangeet Foundation, the D. Montfort University, Jayan Tore, Indrani Leri, Indrani Maulik, and Manav Utsav at D. Montfort University, conceptualized by Indrani Leri. I must say that they are doing some amazing work. So when Shehenshah put us in touch with them, I immediately said yes, and it was an extremely important journey that we've already taken, you know, since last month. We've been together for a few programs also at Ramebazi. And then I brought in Usha, who I know is a girl with a golden heart. And yes, ours is not only a love story, it's a super love story that we have, because it is extremely special. So I'm very happy that she could also take out time, because I know how she thinks and how she works for all these things. Now, coming back to Shehenshah's question, you know, Pablo Picasso says something very beautiful. He says that art washes away from soul the dust of everyday life. And he also says that, you know, as a child, we are all artists. We are born artists. The challenge is to remain an artist as we grow up. Now, why that happens? I would say that I would start a little, you know, from the beginning, Shansha, that I personally feel that these questions shouldn't even arise, that it is theater is for the elite or it's for a niche, it doesn't belong to the masses, because I feel that everyone should do theater. And that's what Augusto Boal says, all the masters say that, everyone, even Oscar Wilde says that we should all do theater to know ourselves better and also to know what we could become. So this has to be ingrained right from our first day of so-called education. And I was sharing with Usho, and I think you were also there when we were having these late night chats, that why do we have education? Is that our ultimate goal? Or is it to gain some tools or some knowledge and information that our ancestors or elders have gained, so that we don't go back to Stone Age? There's some information already available in this world, and we take that and learn a bit of that so that we know how to survive better in this world. I think that should be the only aim and goal of education, apart from it serving the purpose of letting us know our purpose of life, or helping us find our purpose of life. Because we have come to this life only and only to serve the purpose of nature, serve the purpose that the universe has for us. And each one of us individually has a different purpose. Now, the question is that how do we find that purpose? That means there have to be some ways, methodologies, and means and exercises that have to be put into place right from age 3, which will help us find this purpose. And I would like to share with you that theater has these amazing tools, exercises, and things that help us connect with ourselves, connect with the others, connect with the human beings around us. And hence, it should be put into place into anyone's life right from the very beginning. Now, jumping back to where you feel that it belongs to the niche group and the masses don't, you know, are really not interested because they have so much television. I would say that to the contrary belief, my experience is that it has changed because, when I started thinking about it in 2011, we created this all women theater group with women who do not come from theater field, right? They are homemakers, interior designers, fashion designers, teachers, all different fields, and they are doing theater now. So it's not only that we took theater to an audience that was not involved in theater, but we also are making them do theater. So that means theater is becoming a lifestyle for the people that were never involved in theater. So my simple statement over here is that theater should not only be a hobby or passion. It should be a little more. It should be a way of life. And the moment it is a way of your life, you will feel connected with yourself all the time, because there are so many exercises and things that are in place that help you understand yourself better, help you analyze yourself better, see yourself in perspective of others, in juxtaposition to nature and universe, in juxtaposition to the world, and then helps you negotiate with it and live with it in better and better manner every day. So it builds up your confidence. It helps you because you know yourself better. It shows you the mirror, as masters say. Hence, it builds up your confidence. It helps you develop better relationships in public, personal, and social life. It helps you connect with the nature and the universe more. So it's just making your life more relaxed, more joyful, more lyrical, and more content. So, what are you reaching? You're reaching a happiness quotient that stays with you 24/7. So that's how I look at it from my where I am.
That's a wonderful explanation, and I'm sure, hearing what you have described, a lot of people might seriously think of taking up theatre, if not as a career, but definitely as a hobby to begin with. One short question. You have done
I
both.
feel there shouldn't be, just like we don't have choice in studying English, maths, science, there shouldn't be any choice. Theatre should be put in there as theatre, arts, music, dance. They should be more than 50% of your syllabus. They should be part of your life to make you aesthetic, to help you become sensitized towards yourself, because you even forget how to be sensitive to yourself, because all the time you're socially conditioned to expect things from yourself rather than enjoy things for yourself. So I feel that art should be a huge, and Usho agrees with me, and I know she has a lot to say about that it should be put into place right at the beginning of our life. That's how strongly I feel about it. Sorry, you were saying something, Shensha.
Yeah, just one short question. You have done theatre, you have done films. This question comes, at regular intervals. Which is more difficult, acting in films or acting in theatres?
I think both have their own challenges. Just like theater needs rigorous rehearsals of endless months, and then it's a final take on that day. What it's live, and the beauty of it is the energy between the audience and the actor, and that beautiful moment of a shared a sh- the beauty of that shared moment of shared energy and living a moment together with your audience is something that cannot be described, is something that cannot be replaced by anything else. Having said that, film is more for posterity. Theater is ephemeral. It's like a sand castle. It's kind of, you build it up one evening and then it's gone. It's washed away by the wave and it's gone. So film stays there for posterity. You can pick it up, and but the difficult part in film is that you do not get that time to live that emotion passionately, like you can, without any stop, any interruption. You can just live it intensely in theater. But in film, there are cuts, there are a million cuts. You have to do it, and you have to still reach the maximum intensity that you can and become that character and remain like that character completely. But the reward is that it will be there for posterity. Anyone can pick it up at any point of time and see it. So both the mediums have a lot of different kind of challenges and have a lot of different kind of joys attached to it.
I think some of the lucky actors, they have acted in theaters and they also do films. Some of the established film actors, they go back to theater to get the best of both the worlds.
It's a great joy for an actor to be able to, move between both the mediums. It's extremely joyful.
Usho, my question to you is that we all know that there's a lot of difficulty in getting into the fashion world, glamour world, films. The competition is very tough. You must know the right people. You should be extremely talented. You should be extremely lucky. And the first break is considered to be the most difficult aspect. But we were talking earlier, and you said that, when you reach the pinnacle, then the struggle started for you. So please take us through that journey and tell us that, how did you cope with it?
It's almost like, sorry, Usho, you're starting, but it's almost like it's lonely at the top.
Yeah.
And,
absolutely.
People who know it, who've experienced it, they really know it. Go ahead, Usho. I'm so sorry.
No, I mean, I just want to, before I answer your question, Shanshaji, I want to just add 2 points to what Raman ma'am said. That, we had this discussion prior, and I honestly feel that theater should be made, it should be introduced as a subject in school, because it helps you so much, when you okay, let's just understand what it means to be on stage. When you are on stage, your confidence increases, because you are in front of people who are watching you at your most vulnerable. You are giving them something which is art for you. So it really helps students and kids building their self esteem and believe in themselves. So I honestly feel that theater should be made mandatory in school. Kids should have that opportunity to learn theater. Secondly, for I think every actor should do theater, whether you are on films or you are on any platform. Theater is so important, and it just gives you so much. It gives you, it really opens your perception. You see what it is. With films you can do multiple takes, but with theater it is what it is. So I think it's very important, and I am. I think more families should. So when ma'am was answering this question, I realized one very important thing. You see a lot of Bengali families, all the kids in the families, bachpan se na hum logo ko, they always put us in some art. Like, even though I was growing up in Gujarat, and my Bengali parents had no access to send me to a lot of creative art forms at that point of time, but my mom found out one Bengali teacher who used to, give drawing classes. And I remember every Sunday my dad would take me to her, and we'll have like a hour, 2 hour drawing classes. I'm sure my parents didn't have any hopes from me singing, but so they put me in the drawing class. But yeah, I think once you start learning any art form, it is such a big support to your mental health, because physically we might not be able to explain, but through our art we can communicate a lot. And coming back to your question, that the real struggle starts once you are at the top, which is very, very true. Because I remember my mentor Sushmita Sen had once told me that to be a winner, you have to learn to be a graceful loser. Because when you go to a pageant like Miss India or Miss Universe, you will see that there's always one winner, but you have some of the finest women of their countries competing. They are, they're the best in their individual country. So how do you pick one? How do you I mean, there's beauty in so many forms. There is black eyes, there's brown eyes, there's green eyes, there's blonde hair, there's red hair, there's somebody, Miss Haiti would be 5'6", Miss China was 6'1", and people speak different language, they're different body types, they're different skin color. How do you pick and choose one winner in such a, in such a in when you have some of the best women representing their countries? So once you win, people think that okay, you have everything, you got everything. Once you're a winner, everything comes easy. No, but there's a lot of expectations from a winner, and you have to perform and live up to uh, the brands or the company or the platform that you're representing. So for me, I think after winning Miss India, I realized that I was representing a country like India, which definitely, it wasn't. It isn't easy to represent a country like India, because when you come from India, you actually come from one of the oldest culture with one of the biggest history, and um, whether it's our music, our food, our language, the history of our country, it's huge. And you really need to know what you are speaking, because when you go to a pageant like Miss Universe, uh, people look forward to meet Miss Indias there, because they're known to be very intelligent women. If you look at the history of the pageant, Lara Datta holds the world record of being the highest scoring Miss Universe in the history of the pageant, which is still not, no other country has been able to compete that. So they really look forward to meet Miss India. They really, so it is very important to know where you're coming from. And for somebody who doesn't have the strength to deal with uh, the people's expectations out of them, it could be a very, very bumpy ride, at the top. But luckily, I really had great mentors and a very good family support. So for me, also being a defense kid, from a very early age, it is taught to us that how to deal with difficult situations, how to adapt to difficult times. So for me, it wasn't very difficult, but I have seen a lot of people struggle, and there is a lot of, but when something when you reach a platform like that, what happens is a lot of people have a lot of expectations from you. So they would expect you to do like I would I mean, there are a lot of people who would ask me, oh, why aren't you doing a Hollywood film, why aren't you doing a Bollywood movie, oh, why aren't you doing why aren't you on the cover of this magazine? It is very at that point of time, it is very important to know what are your dreams for yourself, rather than what are people's dream for you. So, although I mean, when I won the pageant, luckily I didn't have to go to Bombay or struggle for to get work. I mean, I moved to Bombay and I was already Miss India, so I walked all the big fashion weeks. I was on the cover of all the magazines. I shot for all the magazines possible. I was doing ads. I did films, but after that, it was quite monotonous for me. If I wasn't shooting for A designer, I was shooting for B, but it was the same thing. So within the first 3 years, I realized that
You were making money. You were making money, lots of money.
you know, money has not really been important, like a driving force for me, Shansha ji, because I come from a very good family. So even if I don't work and I sit at home all my life, my family is good enough to take care of me. So for me, it was very important to do work which gives me a sense of purpose and brings me money along with it. I wouldn't just want to do, something for just for money. It has to be an experience that I carry with myself. Today when I look at it, when I look back, I realize that one achievement I did made 10 years back, people still call me in different platforms for that. And that was an experience I wanted to carry. Maybe being an engineer would have given me that jump start, but it wouldn't have given me the experience to go to a platform like Miss Universe and meet friends from all across the world. Today, I can very proudly say that I have a friend in every country. So whenever I want to pack my bags and go travel the world, I know I have a home in every country. So that kind of an experience was my motivation growing up, and within the first 4 5 years, I realized that I really need to do more meaningful work. And trust me, there is a lot of money in doing meaningful work. If you have a sense of purpose attached to the work that you are doing, there is nothing like mental peace. No money, no fame can give you, the peace when you go back to sleep at the end of the day. When you go back and you're sleeping and you wake up to a fresh day, that peace was my force.
Both of you all, you all have talked about, the importance of theatre, that, everyone should do theatre. I studied in Don Bosco School in Calcutta, and, the only role that I got in plays was, to pull the curtain at regular intervals. So, so on a serious note, all stars are not talented. All players are not talented. You don't find everyone of the same caliber in each and every field. Now, say, this question is to Usho. You call 100 girls.
Before you go to the next question, can I chip in to a very important point over here that you've raised?
Yes, please. Yes.
That, not everyone is talented to act or, be an actor or be on stage. I would say that theatre is much more than that. It's not just about acting. It's about all the exercises and rehearsals that you've gone through, the process that you've gone through as a team. It's about learning to work with each other as a team member. It's about learning production work, organizational work, all the backstage work. It's also learning how to be invisible and feel comfortable with that. So if it is a part of our life right from the beginning, that even the questions of that theatre only means being an actor kind of diminishes, because you understand the real gamut. वो बोलते हैं कि थिएटर, भरत मुनि को नाट्य शास्त्र इसलिए लिखने को कहा गया, ये कथा है, क्योंकि उनके 100 पुत्र थे, क्योंकि नाटक वही कर सकता है जिसका कुटुंब हो. Kutum means family, because theatre teaches you how to live like a family. And that's where we are expanding ourselves to a universal family. So I would say that it's it's much bigger than just acting. It's just one tiny fraction of that whole big universe that is called theatre. Sorry, I couldn't help myself. Extremely, because this is where it is misconstrued right from the beginning. It is put into our heads that theatre means acting करनी है, जबकि वो बहुत बड़ा एक ब्रह्मांड है, वो एक बहुत बड़ा यूनिवर्स है जिसमें सारी आर्ट फॉर्म्स हैं, म्यूजिक, डांस, फाइन आर्ट्स, डिजाइन, पेंटिंग, फैशन डिजाइन, कॉस्ट्यूम डिजाइन, सेट डिजाइन, all the art forms come together to create theatre. Then all the aspects of relationships, communication skills, management, organization, presentation, everything comes into that huge universe.
True. So, I was asking Usho that, say in a beauty contest, you call, say, about 500 participants, and out of that, you select 20, 25 for the final round. The others are sent home. What is their general mental condition? Are they very depressed? Are they heartbroken? Or how do they take it? Do they take it very bravely? Do they take it as a learning experience and they go back and they try to work on their weaknesses and they try to come back and try their luck the next time?
That's a very important question, Shanshaji. Let me first answer to what you said about not everybody is talented. I think I would like to quote Albert Einstein here. He said that if you judge a fish by his capability to fly, he will live his whole life thinking he is not talented enough. So as Dr. Howard Gardner, who's the who founded the principle of multiple intelligence, in which he said that all of us have 9 different kinds of intelligence, but in different proportion, and it is very important for us to understand our strength. And in most of it's always that we are a mixture of the talent that is inherited from our family. So today a child cannot wake up and say, I want to learn cricket, if nobody in his family has ever been in sports. So my maternal side of the family is actually from films. My grandfather, my mother's father, was a film editor, and he won a national award also for a Manipuri movie he did. After my dadu, my mother's father, I was the third generation person who got into films. But my mother was very inclined in theatre. She actually had a lot of opportunities, but I think she was extremely in love with my father, so she decided to get married and move to Ambala, and then their journey. So she was very that's why she was very supportive when I wanted to make a career in it, because you know it's inherited. All your talents are inherited. So um, when I was going for my Miss India pageant, it wasn't the first pageant that I went and I won. I must have lost at least 6 to 7 pageants before that. In 2008, I participated in Tilottama. I was the first runner-up in Tilottama. I went to Zoom Anchor Hunt. I was the second runner-up there. I must have done, couple of more pageants before that in Calcutta or nationally, where I went unplaced. And I remember the year 2010 was the first time when the Femina Miss India pageant got divided into 2 parts. So till 2009, the winner of Femina Miss India would represent India and Miss World, and the first runner-up used to represent India and Miss Universe, and the second runner-up would represent India and Miss Asia Pacific. And back then, Donald Trump was the owner and founder of. He owned the franchisee of Miss Universe, so he took the franchisee from Times of India and he gave it to Sushmita Sen, and he asked her to start her own pageant, which she was super heading. So I got a chance to meet Donald Trump also, but. Yeah, so when I went for I Am She, which was the Miss Universe India pageant, that same year I did try for Femina Miss India also, and I didn't place. And I remember coming back home, and I was so broken down. I was, so upset. I remember being in the room and crying, and you know, thinking that okay, this is that one dream that I wanted to, live, and this is what I have always wanted. I can't come so close and lose this. So when I went for the Femina Miss India pageant, what happened was on the day of the audition, I woke up and I had measles. So I didn't know what to do. I was very upset, but I knew that I don't want to give up. So I went to my family doctor. I picked him up. I went to ITC where the audition was happening. Mark Robinson was taking that audition, and I before he could say anything, I was on my knees. I was like, "Please let me give my audition." So I remember all the other contestants were put into another room, and I auditioned, alone, and I didn't make it to the audition. But Times of India actually did an article on my spirit, and that article was spotted by Sushmita Sen's team, and they called me for the Miss Universe India audition. While all this was happening, I remember my dad comes to my knee one day and he told me, something that always stays in the back of my head, that cowards die every day, winners die one night. And, that kind of motivated me. He said that, you can't be my child and you're a defense, you're a Fauji kid, you cannot give up. And that kind of, sometimes it is very important to have a support system, whether it's your family, your friends, who can just say that, you, we are here, for you. So, kids most of the time, they don't need help from family in terms of money, in terms of support, but just the fact that they are there is so important. And my father would, he's always come for all my competition, whether it's a spoon race, or whether it's Miss India or anything. He's always been there. The only time he couldn't attend was my Miss Universe pageant, and he takes the blame for it. He says that he wasn't there, so I didn't win. But I there is always one winner in every contest. There's always one winner. But what makes a winner is that once you fail, you get back and you try again. That's the thin line. That's the only difference between somebody who gave up and somebody who won finally. Because nobody you will hear, and nobody who's made something out of their life, you will ever hear from them that it was an easy journey. Everybody has their own struggle. Everybody has their own journey. And why winners make it through till the end is because of their mental strength. And I think that is very, very important to develop when you are competing for any on any platform.
Wonderful, wonderful. Mental
I
is
would
all
like
there.
to, yeah, sorry, Shansha.
Yeah, it's all there in the mind that, if you're mentally strong, then, you can meet any challenge, you can overcome any obstacle. And what your dad said, I totally agree with him. And there's a very famous Urdu couplet, which is one of my favorite. It goes like this: गिरते हैं शह सवार मैदान जंग में, गिरते हैं शह सवार मैदान जंग में, वो तिफ्ल क्या गिरे जो घुटनों के बल चले. It is a warrior who is there on the battlefield fighting for his motherland. He's the one, who will become a martyr. But the person who's already, who has already accepted defeat, sitting in his house, he can never be a warrior, he can never be a martyr, he can never be called a soldier. So one question to both of you.
I would like to add to what Usho said and what you said just now, that apart from the confidence, which I would add a couplet over there, that खुदी को कर बुलंद इतना कि हर तदबीर से पहले खुदा बंदे से ये पूछे बता तेरी रजा क्या है. So, but apart from this, also what Usho said, that the family support means a lot. You are alone if you do not have the family support. And I would add to that my parents have a lot of contribution to bring me where I am today. They would stay back till 11 o'clock rehearsals. They would come from office, stay back for the rehearsal. We would just offer them a cup of tea, take us back home. Then mom would cook. And then if I wanted to, because I did masters in music and I wanted to watch concerts, Ravi Shankar ji play kar rahe hain, ya koi bhi ustad bade aaye hain aur Chandigarh mein concert hai, ya any dance concert, anything, my father would make sure that either he or one of my friends is there to escort me back home. And if he wasn't there and none of my friends was free, I would watch the concert alone. But if he was in Delhi doing for a tour, he would come back from Delhi, take me back home after the concert and go back to Delhi next morning. So that's the kind of, I would say, sacrifice. They don't feel it's a sacrifice, but I think that's the kind of dedication or hard work they have done to bring us to where we are today. So yes, Usho, thank you for pointing that out, that family support and help and motivation means a lot.
Absolutely.
And helps you become what you are.
And Raman ma'am, I would also like to point one thing here, that honestly, it's very lucky when you have your family and people supporting you. But even if you don't have that kind of support system, it's very important to protect your dream, be that support system to yourself. Because
Yes.
Mostly in life, we regret the things we don't do. It's very rare that we regret the things that we do. So, growing up, you are going to only regret the things you didn't try. You try, you fail, it's okay. You know that you tried. but not trying, not giving it a shot can really affect your mental health. And even if you don't have that support, be that support for yourself.
And especially, I would now bring it towards the women a little bit, that because it happens that till date the system is such that the woman leaves her home and comes to the home of the guy, the guy's home, and she is expected to, adapt to that family and take, you know, lead a life that she's supposed to lead in that household. A lot of women, or most of the women all over the world, that's something that I want to point out, that it's not India specific, because we work with artists or communities all across the world. Things are pretty much the same, that you are supposed to just forget where you were born. You're supposed to forget an identity or education that you had. You're supposed to forget if you had a calling like this. You are supposed to become what the other family expects you to become. But as Usha pointed out, that hold on to do everything that you're expected to do, because social conditioning, or you want to be the good wife, mother, bahu, everything. But hold on to your theme. Never give up, even for one day. You can tell others that I'm there for you for everything, but then there's me. And that me, I'm not giving up at any cost. And that goes on for men also. It's not so much the career that you've chosen, the career that is going to bring you money. It's also about what makes you happy at the end of the day. What is that one thing that you can keep on doing all your life and you still feel happy? The moment, if you can identify it right in your childhood, which, as we are talking about, that systems should be in place to find that one thing for you right from the beginning, you are a happy soul, because then you're not going in a rat race. And that's where, Shansha, we were discussing the other day, the mental health comes in very important. Apart from the education system, that kya methodologies honi chahiye, it is also about how we are looking at life. Are we looking at life that all of us should earn a certain amount? All of us should be one on top of the other, silver medal, gold medal, bronze medal, everything? No, life is not about that, because each one of us is unique. And as Usha pointed out and said that beautiful quote of Einstein's, that if you, look at the fish, that she is going to do something that a horse or cow is supposed to do, it's a failure. She will never succeed. And that's what we are expected to do. Each one of us is supposed to succeed in maths and science and social studies. We should be good in studies. अगर studies में अच्छे हैं तो तुम sports में अच्छे क्यों नहीं हो? वो तो इतनी तेज भागता है. अगर उसमें अच्छे हो तो आप dance में अच्छे क्यों नहीं हो? क्योंकि वो तो इतना अच्छा dance करती है. Sorry.
The parents expect, their child should be expert in each and every subject and each
and
every
every I should be good like Shahanshah in accounts. I should be as model like as Usho, or as whatever beautiful qualities Usho has, and she is supposed to be like me. And Shahanshah also must have some qualities that I may have. If you're a good cook, I'm also supposed to be a good cook. So because the expectations from each individual are the same, which is a very deformed notion of the society, and it should be thrown out as fast as possible to protect people from falling into the trap of mental health, because they are made to feel lesser mortals all the time. Whatever you may do, I say that if you're good at nothing, but you're just a good speaker, that's your calling. Why isn't that considered as a good calling, if you're nothing, but you're just good at relationships with people, making people happy, that's your calling. So why should you be made to feel a lesser human being all your life? And if the luck has it, or if you are trying to pursue it, you may find it much later in life, oh, this is something that gives me happiness, or this is who I am. Why not right from the beginning and save that mental torture? There's so many young kids who are, dropping out of class 10. They've
Ma'am, I
gone
would
ahead
just
to
like
become bakers, actors, everything, but they are rejecting class 10. That means they're rejecting the education system because it's killing them. Sorry, Usha?
I just want to point one thing here that, of course, I mean, when you this new education policy in India is truly commendable. It has a lot of opportunities for students to do holistic study. But having said that, financial, Shansha ji is from the finance background, so he will agree with me on this. That being Ramanjit ma'am is also the vice president of Women Chamber of Commerce. The art leagues artists need to be financially independent and secured. So it is very important for everyone, whether you are from the arts field or you are from any field, to be financially independent. But while in the process of being financially independent, if you completely lose your mental peace, that can have more adverse effect on you than anything else. There's a beautiful Japanese philosophy called ikigai, which talks about what you are really good at, what the world needs, and what you can create together for the world and with what you are good at. And that could be really beneficial for you. So there was a beautiful example which I read in that book, saying that a watchman who stands at a mall and is a watchman there for years. It's not that he's doing that if he hates it so much. You have to love what you're doing, whether it's whatever that calling would be. Till the time you don't love that, you won't benefit society out of it. It has no purpose. And
Yeah.
once you have a purpose attached to your career, which is financially rewarding you, mental health would be just the cherry on the top of that cake.
True,
Because
true.
then your career will be made out of something that you love. If you love speaking, that will become your career. That will get you money enough. And then again, the definition of money. People have so much money and they are unhappy. Why? Because they haven't found themselves. So they are trying to define themselves through the Gucci's and the Pradas and the solitaires that they wear, because they don't have their own definition yet. So even the whole career scene, or how we look at career, how we look at the success, I think success rate should be defined by how happy you are in life, and not how much dough you have in life.
True, 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 true. When you all are talking about, doing something which you are fond of, one name comes to my mind is that of Kapil Sharma. He was very good in cracking jokes, and today, he is there in the Kapil Sharma show, and he's making a lot of people happy. He's uplifting their mood, and in the process, he's making millions. Usho, you said sometime back that you have a friend in each and every country. Do you have a friend in Wuhan?
I have a friend in China, but not exactly in Wuhan.
Is he in
But
Wuhan?
yeah,
Would like to visit Wuhan next year
I'm
to
sorry.
see. We would like to visit Wuhan next year to see where
I
it all
would
started.
definitely love to visit China because it's a very exciting country for me to understand how they work. China is one country which has truly taught the world to be proud of who they are. They speak their language. They have, even their education system is made in a way that kids from a very young age, they are actually taught coding, AI, arts, theater. I mean, a lot of their education system is actually made for kids who want to be leaders, not followers. So that has always been very intriguing for me. The fact that they have a Facebook, their own Facebook in China. I was very intrigued. They don't let their citizens to access anything which is not made in China. And I think that is such an incredible philosophy for other countries to understand that see what is nationalism. If you look at Rabindranath Tagore's philosophy of nationalism or Gandhiji's philosophy of of the Swadeshi movement, it was to support who you are, to be proud of who you are. And I think China has kind of done that for years. So it's a very intriguing country for me. I would definitely like to visit China. I mean, not anytime soon, definitely, but I would love to visit China. Japan is a country I'm really looking forward to visit. I think the Japanese culture and their philosophy of life is something very, very intriguing and very beautiful for me. I would love to visit New Zealand because I am supremely impressed and inspired by their prime minister and the fact that they have beaten COVID. It's 100 days. New Zealand is COVID-19 free. That's extremely interesting. So if you ask me, what is the next country on my travel list? It's definitely New Zealand.
Please appoint me as your manager. I'll look after all your official work. So I've come to the last question.
I'm sorry?
You were saying something, yeah. Please go ahead.
I'm saying that I have a question for you, Shanshaji. You have asked
me?
us a lot.
Okay.
Yeah. You have been an excellent moderator today, and thank you for coming up with all those questions and asking it from a way which hasn't been approached. I have been on a lot of platforms, and the way you approach the questions were very different. So most of the people ask me about my success; they never ask me about my failure. So it was interesting to answer that. But so when I won Miss India, from then, the whole idea of being a queen was kind of very intriguing for me. When you win Miss India, you have a crown, and for the next 1 year, you are in your reign, and people would address you as the reigning Miss India. What does it mean? That was the best part of it. I had rehearsed giving my autograph when I was in class, 6 or 7. Since then, I was rehearsing. So I would just go and give autograph to my dad, saying that keep it. Someday it's going to be an autograph, and he'll just pull my leg. But eventually that happened, and he was the first one to take my autograph. By the way, he kind of made peace with not having an engineer kid. So coming back to my question for you, what is it? How do you stay true to your lineage in a world where government has taken over? Most if you look around in the world, how do you stay true to your true to your lineage?
Well, when we were growing up like any other child, and we were being told that Awadh was annexed in 1856. We are not going to get back, at least not in our lifetime. So you must accept this reality. But at the same time, my parents insisted that, we should get proper education, because they told us that if you want to do something in life, it is very important to be educated. That is the key to success. Once in a while, we used to feel bad that at one point of time, our ancestors were rulers of this country. But then I think everything has got an age and a span. If today Jalaluddin Muhammad Akbar, one of the greatest Mughal emperor of India, were to be born, he would not even become a councillor in Calcutta Municipal Corporation. Akbar became great because, he was born in 1500. And that time the scenario was totally different. So, you have to change with time. You have to accept ground realities. You may not like it, but that is, one of the harsh realities of life. And whatever comes your way, you should accept it with a smile and you should move ahead. And during this pandemic, for example, people were complaining that, we are having this problem, we are having that problem. And I totally agree with them. I sympathize with them that, all of us had faced problems. But I was also telling people that, even during this lockdown, this forced lockdown, try to look for some silver linings. And, I've been told that, there are many young girls, they have picked up cooking. A lot of people have picked up, things like dancing. A lot of people have started writing. A lot of people have been able to reconnect to their old friends and relatives with which they have been out of touch. तो कभी-कभी तो खराब लगता है और कभी-कभी ऐसा लगता है कि बहुत ही एक हसीन ख्वाब था और ये ख्वाब अचानक खत्म हो गया, टूट गया, and you have woken up. So I won't say that it gives you a bad feeling, but certainly it doesn't make you too happy. and we have accepted the fact.
But I'm sure, to carry the legacy that you carry and to carry the history that you carry, it must be so empowering. I mean, I would love to. I think that should be another webinar session for us to understand your journey as a royal also, because I think royal is by birth, you're born royalty. So I think it has always been very intriguing for me to understand the history of India, and to be, because every time I would travel, people would be very excited to know about India. And I had read, like, I was always very intrigued by the way Akbar the Great, he was one ruler who really created the base of secular India. And the way he, the way he, uh, the kind of architecture, history, the food, the language, culture that the Mughals got in India. I mean, truly, I think I'm so grateful, because I cannot imagine my life without my biryani. So I'm so grateful, and I need to know the whole thing from you very soon someday.
Before that, you have to come to our house.
I'm going to give a completely different perspective to what Shehenshah ji over here said, and
Oh
that
my.
is that इनका ख्वाब टूट गया क्योंकि अब इनको हमारे जैसे mortals के साथ common mortals like us, he has to have coffee with us, and हमारे साथ बैठना उठना पड़ जाता है, हमारे साथ सेशन करना पड़ता है, तो अब क्या करें? सॉरी शहनशाह जी.
कुछ नहीं, sorry की कोई बात नहीं है. I'm privileged that people like you are my friends.
कहाँ आपने तो कहा ख्वाब टूट गए, अब हम तो इसी बात को लेके
कभी लगता है कि ख्वाब था. When people talk about Awadh, I remember when I was in school and college, and we used to study about Awadh, the entire class used to look towards me. So anyway, I have one last question, which is a common question to both of you. Any one of you can answer first, or can go in any order. Both of you are part of this creative arts where you teach people to emote and become someone who they are not. So in a sense, they are transferred to an imaginary world. जो ख्वाब की मैं बात कर रहा था. So does it mean at one level that there is some escape from reality? Like, say, an ordinary man, he's playing the role of, say, prime minister or a minister. Does it make him feel happy, or like, how does it help him? I think Usho can take this first.
Usho, you take it first, and then I'll wind it up.
So, can you just repeat that question for me, sir? How does it make them feel? Is what you want to know?
Like, you teach people.
Question. Yeah, sorry.
Like, suppose you are acting in a play or a film, and you are playing a role of a particular character in which you are not. So for the time being, you are transferred to that imaginary world. You start believing that, you are so and so. Like, say, a person like me, if I'm supposed to play the role of Dara Singh. So, for X amount of hours, I will believe that, I'm as strong as Dara Singh. So I'm transferred to an imaginary world. So how does it help me? Does it help me in any way?
That's a very good question. I mean, I'm going to answer this from the point of view of being a model, and I think Raman ma'am can address it from the point of view of being an actor. I think for me, as I told you, Shenja ji, when I was in school or college, I was very nobody thought that I could be a beauty queen eventually growing up. So for me, this was my way, this was my self-expression. Me on the stage was somebody I wanted to be deep inside my heart. But on a physical reality, I wasn't that person. I was just a plain, simple girl who was going to school studying. I never thought of, walking the way I would walk on the ramp, or posing the way I would pose on the ramp in my school or class. But I would do that in front of the mirror. I used to take a lot of time in the washroom, and my dad would keep banging and saying, why do you take so long? Because, I would just keep rehearsing in front of the mirror, and I would give speeches of what I would say when I would win Miss India. And So I had all these lunatic habits, but that was me deep down inside. That's what how I wanted to be, and my stage gave me that opportunity. So when I would come on ramp, the moment I'm on ramp, I would feel like this queen, like everybody's looking at me and they want to wear what I'm wearing and they want to buy what I'm wearing, and how nice I'm looking with this hair and makeup. It was a way for me. It was my way of self-expression. So, did I become that character at that point of time? Yes, maybe. And did that help me to grow? Yes, definitely. It was a huge boost for me, for my self-esteem, in my self-belief. I remember still when I won that crown and I won, people were like, how did this happen? But in my head, I was like, I always knew this is going to happen. So that was my way of self-expression, and my stage has been my most comfortable place. I think that has been the most fearless I have been. So of course, it really gives you a huge boost, and I think that's why I say that everybody, whether you have a regular job, whether you are an artist or not, doesn't matter, but go and put yourself on the stage. If you see the Miss Universe pageant or the Miss India pageant, there is always a swimsuit round in the pageant. People don't understand the meaning of that round, why that round is
And
so
it's most
important.
exciting round.
Yeah, it is for the most exciting round for a lot of people, but being that person wearing a swimsuit and walking in front of 1,000 people, the kind
It's
of
not easy.
confidence it takes, the kind of self-belief it takes, the kind of the liberation it takes. And why that round is put in a pageant is because when a woman is body confident, she's unbound by any fear. So people don't understand the meaning of why that round is put into pageants. That round is put because when a woman is fearless and proud of her body, she can take on the world. And that's what a stage does. It gives you an opportunity to be fearless. And for an actor, I'm sure it's different because every character is demanding and every character you play comes with its own advantages and disadvantages. I have read how Ranveer Singh went into a massive depression after playing Khilji, and how what kind of trauma it took for, or what kind of preparation it took for Deepika Padukone to play Padmavati. So I think for acting, Raman ma'am would be able to explain that better. But I think as a model, uh, my stage has been my most comfort place ever.
What you gave was a real life experience, Usho, and it's real life for you. It's you out there on stage, and you're not portraying anyone else. Even over there, you're portraying Usho. So that becomes a multi-layered experience, a real experience of this one person, this one character for you. So it's really quite interesting to study this part of when we are on stage, because modeling is that person himself or herself on stage and not another character.
Yes.
So coming to Shansha, your question of when we play different characters, and is it the imaginary world or the real world, and how does it help us or destroys us? I would say, coming to the destruction part of it, Usho, at a very young age, my director Neelamji, she taught us how to snap in and snap out. That was very important because we were doing this play Yerma by Federico Garcia Lorca. At the end of the play, when Yerma kills her husband, there's this huge wailing, and she wanted me to do this wailing like a Rudali. When Rudali's wail, it's a wail from inside, it's encompassing the whole universe. So the day I managed it, I just couldn't stop. And the images that we had created of the water and the fire and everything, I just couldn't stop wailing. So it was a nervous breakdown, and we do have as actors these nervous breakdowns. But it's extremely important to protect this person who's doing these different characters. So how do you do that? So that's why being an actor, it's extremely important for the teacher, the mentor, the director to teach, and for an actor to learn and study and inculcate within their system to know that this is a character that I'm playing, and I have to snap out of it and come back to my reality. This is not my reality. So the moment you put in that discipline, just like you put in your discipline of daily exercise, reading, research, going to the unit on time, punctuality, whatever other disciplines that you put into your life, this is one of the most important disciplines that you need to put into your life, how to go in and snap out. Now, coming to playing different characters is something, Shahanshah, that people really, it really helps you to understand life more. It's not an escape from life, rather it's a better study of life. That's why if you see real actors or actors who have been indulging in theater or studying theater, especially not only the film actors, because theater is a much more intense experience in terms of study of it, but also film actors these days especially, or in a certain system since days immemorial, or any actor who's always studied the character well, I would come back to that, make it as basic as that. Um, they would agree that it is more of a better understanding of human psychology. So that means I understand a character like Shahanshah. I understand a character like Ushoshi if I'm playing Ushoshi in one of the plays or films. So that helps me understand a character like Ushoshi. So what does that make an actor? That makes him or her a more sensitive human being. That makes him better equipped to address life, to address others, and even to address yourself, because you can deal with emotions better because you've already dealt with them, or you're already studying them. That's how I would say that theater gives you a lot of strength, a better understanding of life and relationships, a better understanding of human psychology. It gives you so many tools and ways and means to address life, to deal with life. That's how I look at it. And also in terms of mental health, Shansha, when you're portraying these characters, there's a beautiful exercise which we call status exercise. Supposing I'm always a very timid and tender kind of soul, I've never shouted and screamed at anyone, but there's this status exercise. I'm just giving you an example of one, and I am made to be a very dominant and arrogant kind of character. It gives me a release on the stage, on the floor. So in theater or any kind of arts, like right in the beginning, Usho had said that in art you're expressing any kind of art, music, dance, painting, poetry, theater. Other education systems, you're only receiving. कि maths ऐसे होता है. This is what happens in science. This is what happens in this is what geography is all about. But in arts, you are expressing yourself. And hence, there's a release. Release of emotion means better mental health.
Release of emotion means better mental health. I think on that note, we should wind up. It was lovely talking to both of you. It's not easy to interact with two beautiful women of substance, women who have done very well in their life on a Sunday evening, knowing that tomorrow is going to be a Monday, a boring Monday, but this is how life goes on. And before we conclude, I would like to request the main architect of Sangeet Foundation, Jointo Ray, to take over and say his concluding
I had
remarks.
2 questions from the audience, and they're both from Indrani Larry, the mastermind behind Manav Utsav at Montfort University. And they're very relevant questions. Where can we see these performances? If you're referring to the theatre performances, Indrani, you're welcome to our shows. And we would love to come to UK soon again. UK is my like second home, and show the performances of Dice of Desire, which is an all women play of the women of Mahabharata and Beyond Borders, you just saw. And mentoring at the creative arts. Yes, we are already looking at collaborating with Sangeet Foundation and De Montfort University. So mentoring by the creative arts can start anytime, any day, and we look forward to it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that, Ramanjit, for your inputs on that. It was really lovely. But before we finish, I was talking to Ushashi the other day, and I picked up on her point saying that, you know, daughters don't need to be told what they need to do, right? So, and I've learned it the hard way. I can tell you that.
I was just, I'm sorry, I'm cutting you there, Jonathan sir. I was just about to mention that the first time I spoke to Jonathan sir over phone when he called me and he told me about Sangeet Foundation, I was actually in middle of something and I thought it's going to be a quick conversation. So I picked up and the call went on for an hour. And he told me why and how he started Sangeet Foundation, and that was one of the reasons that really inspired me to come on this platform because for my family also, my parents also, they never really understood what mental health is. And when I told him about my issues with anxiety and depression, for my parents it was very difficult, but my father took that chance and he read about it, he researched about it, and that really compelled me to come on this platform. So thank you so much, Jonathan sir, for having me on this platform. And this means a lot because what you are doing is I've seen my father doing the same for me.
Thank you so much for that, Usho, for coming on board here. And yeah, so I can tell you that I learned it the hard way to say. So the only time when my daughters would actually talk to me is to basically find out what they should not be doing. So whatever I tell them, they'll know that this is not the way to go. So the only thing I can do for them is to tell them I'm there, that I'll always be there, that I'm there to support them. Should they need any help, I'm there. And should they want to find out what they don't want to do, they should ask me and talk to me about that. So that is I picked that up, and very well said, Usho, about failing as well. So with that, there were two questions. I'll merge it into one. And there was one question, I think it was Indrani Lahiri herself, and she was asking, the damage that is done while you are growing up, and there was this person, and he was asked, so what is your name? So he says, my name is No Deepak. He says, what do you mean by No Deepak? Is your name Deepak? He says, no, my name is No Deepak. He said, why would you say that? He said, when I was a child, anything I did, my parents would say, No Deepak. And I knew my name was No Deepak all the time. So, and that is very damaging when parents or adults in general, they say, no, you can't touch this. No, you can't do this. No, you can't, go through this. So can we use the arts, the drama, to repair the damage which is done as a child? And a follow-up on that is to say, what advice would you have for the children who are growing up, the teenagers who go through this anxiety, and how do they build resilience into themselves?
Usho, you go first.
No, I would like to answer the second part of your question, Jonathan sir. I think the first part, Raman ma'am, she had more expertise to answer the first part of the question. But teenagers or adults who are going through anxiety or depression, first and foremost is to understand and create awareness of it. A lot of us grow up with anxiety and we don't even understand its anxiety. We just think that we are overthinking. But there's a difference between sadness and depression. There's a difference between overthinking and anxiety. You have to understand it first. You have to create more awareness around it. And that only happens if you if you educate yourself about these platforms. And then comes arts, yoga. These are all healing techniques, healing ways, and art definitely is one of the biggest tool for mental health healing, and how it can really change your life. But there's a book that I had read which is called Understanding the Wisdom of Anxiety. Every mental health issue comes with some wisdom to you. They are trying to teach you something. So people, who have ADHD issues, they actually make great entrepreneurs. People who have anxiety issues, they actually have very strong intuition. People who are, suffer from depression, they are actually very good in their analytical or even art field. So every I think the best thing about mental health is understanding the huge positivity it can bring into your life. And any mental health trauma or issue is actually just trying to teach you to heal yourself, which is as normal as a physical symptom that comes to you. Like, for example, if you have fever, that means that some part of your body is not doing well. So it just means you have to rest and then get back again. When you have cold, it just means that you have put yourself in an extreme cold weather or some allergic space. So there's something that's not right in your body, and you can fix it and get back to work. Similarly with mental health, anxiety, depression, ADHD issues, bipolar issues, these can all be tackled. You can heal from all of this. This is nothing, there is no big drama attached to these issues. 80% of the people I know in my own life have some mental health issues. So, it just, and therapy should not be the last resort. It's not that you don't go to the doctor only when you have pneumonia, right? You go to them when you have fever. So you should not wait when you are in the extreme end of your mental health. For me, my therapist is, like, I love her. I mean, I have any issues nowadays, I call her. It just feels so much lighter. Doing that for almost a year now has given me more strength to deal with my anxiety issues. So I'll just share one small incident. I used to have this massive fear of dying. Okay, I always thought that, like, suppose I'm in a flight, I would think, what if I crash and I die, and then I would see that my flight is on a water body, and I would be like, oh my god, if I fall in the water, I don't know how to swim. So even if I crash, I'm going to die by not knowing how to swim. And I never realized these were the signs of anxiety. Only when I met my therapist, she taught me this process of overthinking is because you have anxiety, and because you have always had very strong intuition. So you cannot just look at the positive of one superpower. Every superpower comes with some positivity and some disadvantage also. You have to just turn that disadvantage around for yourself. So now when I'm put in a situation like that, I signal myself and I'm like, Usho, you're overthinking. Remember what your therapist said. And talking to a therapist and talking to a friend is very different. There is a reason why they are professionals. Of course, therapy is very expensive. Not everyone can afford it. And that's why there is art, that's why there are mentors, teachers, friends, family. Just express yourself, communicate. Most of the issues in life comes because we don't communicate. I mean, we don't tell our parents that, no, I don't want to be an engineer because I will make a very sad and very bad engineer. I would rather be an average artist, but I would be happy doing that. And I think we really don't understand. I think parents, they just mind trick you, because I think if you can't convince your parents and your family, there is a world there to discourage you. So I think if you can fight that battle in your house and win that, you are more powered to take on to the world. So for me, I have taken every instance and turned it into something positive. Like whenever I'm faced with a difficulty, I ask myself that, how can I make something positive out of this? And I really make sure that I question that. It has helped me tackle my anxiety a lot.
Thank you. Very well said.
I would take it as thank you, Usho, and I would talk about first, Jayanta. You asked about that, can arts and drama help you in heal the damages done in childhood? Yes, it can, because one, that again I would say, it is helping you explore yourself, discover yourself, your strengths and weaknesses that no one ever addressed. Maybe the world only looked at, even your, familial world, which was the family, looked at your weaknesses, but they never looked at your qualities. So Cater helps you really address, acknowledge or recognize your qualities, build on that, make them into your strengths, and become a whole, a complete human being, or looking at this human being with this whole canvas and not just half picture. So then also it helps you heal the wounds that could have happened to you, wounds of not being appreciated, because theater as a community teaches you to appreciate each other. And that's where I'm coming from, that right from the beginning, if as a family, as a community, we become people who are listening to each other, and not through a glass of, or a barrier of how I want that person to look at things, or how I want Jayanto to react about things. But I'm just listening to him without being judgmental. Oh, he just doesn't like this, or he doesn't like that, or he's not good at it. He doesn't like sports. I love sports. So without my own tainted glass, without wearing those tainted glasses, which is my reflection or my perception of the world, I am just listening to Jayanto the way he is thinking. And I develop that skill in my, so I'm looking at the second person now, that how we can help and stop this, damage from happening, even within the families. That if we start only looking at qualities of others, Jayanto, all the relationships will get sorted out. Just if we remember that we ourselves have a lot of weaknesses, and we maybe in this lifetime will not be able to overcome these weaknesses. But I look at that Jayanto sings well. Jayanto is handling this amazing Sangeet Foundation. Shahanshah is a wonderful person who's a noble man who has learned how to live with these mortal human beings. And he has this gentle heart and takes us mortal beings to coffee and then praises us to the hilt. And that's his quality. And then he comes to the forum and says that I call Ramanjeet when I'm feeling down. So that's such humility. That's being honest and real. And then Usho, who's won this award, but she's just such a wonderful person at heart. She may have 1 million weaknesses. Maybe time, maybe this, maybe that, maybe technology. I don't know, because I'm not even focusing on that. All I can see is this amazing human being that is there in front of me, because I'm only focusing on her qualities. So if that starts happening, how many times do you tell your 5-year-old, oh, wow, this drawing is amazing. The tree is pink. Amazing.
Sure.
But we will tell, no, the tree has to be green. And the moment she or he scribbles on the wall, we say, "Abhi to paint kara tha, tumne meri puri drawing room ki diwar kharab kar di." So that means the wall becomes more important, and the child is sidelined. So that means for me, the wall is more important than the child's or child's creativity. First, let's appreciate that creativity. Wow, what is the scribble? What were you trying to do? And do you enjoy putting the paints more on the wall, or would you prefer a canvas or paper or whatever? Now, all my little one is 9 years old, and all the walls in my house, even the living room, except this wall, which she has not done anything to, they're all full of papers, stickers, all the scribbles that are there. But I'm enjoying it because I know tomorrow all this won't be there. So how many times we say, oh, you speak so well. Most of the time we say, you talk too much. Have you even thought of your homework? You blabbering since last 2 hours. But instead, if we say, where do these ideas come from? What are you even thinking? You talk so well. Oh my God, you're using these words. I didn't even know that you know these words. So the moment our and I call it shifting the gear. The moment we shift the gear and we start talking to others just like we would like to be talked to, the world becomes a better place. And yes, theater and arts teaches us to do that.
Fabulous. Thank you
I just
so much.
want to
Yeah. Yeah. Yes,
add
Usha.
one small point here, Jointer sir, that I mean, talking from the point of view of our generation, I mean, our generation is definitely one of the most vulnerable generation to mental health. People talk about it. There is more resonance. People are talking more and more about it. But also, I think it is very important for us also to understand where our parents are coming from, because you have to understand mental health travels through generations. Why a father wants their child to have a fixed job or be an engineer is because the time when they were growing up, the India post independence was the industrial revolution was happening. So these kind of jobs gave them a fixed career, a secured career. So no parent in this world want bad for their child. So we also need to be more compassionate and understand what are the traumas they are coming from. Most of a lot of our grandparents have seen India when they were getting divided, so there has been so much of pain and trauma which they carried. So they made their children, while they were growing up, they passed on those traumas to them. So they taught them that not studying this subject or not being this person can land you in trouble. So while they were growing up with those thoughts, it is eventually going to get passed on to you. So you have to be more compassionate and understand that. That's why, as I said, that education is very important around mental health. Once you understand mental health, you will understand why the other person is coming with that kind of baggage themselves.
Adding to that, I would say that if you want children to talk to you the way Usho has suggested, that the youngsters should feel comfortable talking to their parents, but the only way they can feel comfortable is if they don't have the fear of being judged or being ridiculed or being snubbed at. The moment they have that safety and they know that they have a friend in their parent, they will come up with anything and everything that they have done, that they are going through. They will discuss with you, they will howl in front of you, they will go crazy in front of you, but they will do it because they know that it is safe. They will not be judged at, they will not be made to feel more miserable than they already are. And when I was growing up, my friends would say, Usho, this is addressing to exactly what you said, that oh, my parents, even though Chandigarh is all co-ed education, boys and girls study together, so we had boys who were friends, and we never considered that. I mean, gender never crossed our mind. We just grew up. It was men and women are supposed to exist together, right? And this whole colonialism brought in separate female and separate male schools, and that kind of made the whole growth very unnatural. But Chandigarh, which was a city that came after partition, it came into being after partition, it has all co-education schools. So it was questioned that you have so many boys who are your friends, and you are only two sisters, so you should have more female friends. But my friends would say, oh, your parents don't mind it, your parents understand you. Our parents don't. They won't allow us to go late, they won't allow us to have so many boys coming home. So I would tell them, and Usha, this is exactly what you said, that I would ask them that, have you ever tried speaking to your parents? Why are you judging them that they will not understand? Speak to them once, twice, thrice, 10 times. Maybe by the 10th time, they will understand your point of view. So I think, Usha is right. And I mean, that's where we are, all of us kind of would understand that it comes from both sides. Children talking to parents, parents talking to children, and both the parties not judging the other, which is extremely important, and creating a very neutral space, a very loving and caring space. I think we all need a lot of love and appreciation. One word of appreciation, that today your blue shirt is looking so nice, or you sang so well last night. Shansha, thank you so much. It was such a privilege being at this forum. Or Usho, I just love you so much. Thank you for joining me. Just one little sentence would make the day for that person. And
Absolutely.
that is one thing that we forget. And also healing part, Janto, I forgot something about my women's group, who started their journeys. Some of them are 20s and 30s, but some of them started after 40, 50, 60, after retirement. All their lives they've been ridiculed. All their lives they've been told they are not good enough. Even though they've made these beautiful households and wonderful families, raised amazing children. But theater has given them their identity, has given their confidence back, has healed them. That was your question. So yes, there's a lot of power over there.
Thank you, Ramanji. That was so beautifully explained. And with that, thanks a lot to
We've, I think, taken too much time.
No, absolutely. And it was so mesmerizing listening to both of you, the way you have articulated. It was really lovely to have both you, Ramanjit, as well as Usho. It was, and at least I got to make two lovely friends, and I'm sure we will get to work together in the future as well.
Absolutely.
But importantly, thank you so much, Hansha, for hosting this today. That was beautiful.
My pleasure.
And
I like the name Royalty Hosting Divas. Wow, kya naam hai.
Absolutely.
Amazing, huh? Usho, what do you think of the name?
Absolutely.
That was Indrani Bhattacharya coming up, and with such a appropriate name. So yeah. So
this evening we are missing Indrani Bhattacharya, my friend from Calcutta, who's now in England, and whenever she's in Calcutta, we should have a get together.
Absolutely.
So you are finally inviting her for coffee, right? Is that a public announcement? Indrani, we've earned you a public announcement of coffee with the royalty. His name is Shahanshah Mirza.
I'm inviting all of you not only for coffee but also for biryani, Nargisi kofta, rizala, and murg musalla.
Oh wow!
Wow!
Absolutely fabulous.
And Fatima cooks very well. I will vouch for that.
Yes.
Fabulous. So now that we have assured a place for ourselves for dinner, with that, which is why basically Shahanshah Mirza is Sangeet Foundation's happiness ambassador in Kolkata right now. So thank you so much for being the happiness ambassador for Sangeet Foundation, Shahanshah.
Thank
you.
With
that, and I know we targeted for an hour, and I think it was 2 hours. And it time just flew by, and it was really useful.
Really talk.
And really, it was not just talk; it was so useful for all of us. And there's a lot of areas where I also learned today. Some of the areas where I used to think, so you have helped me understand it better now, and understand that my thinking was right. Some places I have corrected my thinking as well, and I'm sure the audience would have benefited from it as well. So thank you, audience, for being there with us. So it has been a good 2 hours, and thank you for being such a fabulous audience. And I can see a lot of comments coming in, and likes and so on. So, and love to all of you. With that, we will shall we close the call then?
Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Sangeet Foundation, D. Montfort University, Manav Utsav, Indrani Lahiri, Indrani Maulik, and Jayanto, and Shansha, and Usho. Love you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And Indrani Lahiri as well. Thank you, D. Montfort University, for being with us.
Yes.
I would just want to thank everybody. Thank you so much, everyone. And thank you, Jayanto sir, for giving me this opportunity to come on board. And of course, Indrani ma'am also, who's been one of the biggest support to get this entire panel together.
Yes,
And
it
I'm
was
so
very
glad
hard.
to be part of Sangeet Foundation.
And
Thank
thanks
you.
to the audience who's been listening, hopefully listening to us since past 2 hours. And
Yes.
if you haven't, please catch it up because it's there on Sangeet Foundation and our timeline.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for
Thank
that.
you so much.
Thank you. Thank
Good
you.
night.
Good night.
With that,
Bye-bye.
we'll close. Thank you. Bye now.
Bye-bye.